Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another installment of Footy Abroad here on all four of these YouTube channels that you are watching from. Great to be here. Episode 4. I'm Terry, Blue Abroad. To my right of screen, got Jake from Saints TV. Hello, mate.
Hello, mate.
We've got below me, we've got Swoop Luke. Hello, mate.
How you guys going?
And diagonally to the bottom of me, we've got our guest, another OG YouTuber, I would say, Cardman. Hello and welcome to Footy Abroad, mate.
How are we? Jeez, this is actually quite a big honor, to be honest with you. As one of the first few guests as well. I don't know if I should be worthy enough to get on as the fourth or the second guest. I think Druzy was the first a couple of weeks ago. I'm looking forward to it.
Very worthy, mate. Very worthy.
So modest, mate. So modest.
It should be good. I'm looking forward to it.
More subs than all of us combined, and he's not worthy, you reckon?
Literally.
Well, I don't do the.
It's an honor to be working with you.
I don't do the analytical.
I think in the comments, someone thought this was Cardi's stream anyway. That's how big you are, mate. You own the show already. So
quite a few people in the comments have no idea what this is. They think I've set this all up. No, this is not. I've not set this up. Footy Abroad, check it out every week. But good to get on.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to get through plenty tonight. What we like to do before we start, we'll go around one by one. Maybe Cardi, we'll start with you, seeing as you're the guest. Maybe if you want to, obviously those watching from your channel will know who you are very well. But maybe just give us a bit of a summary of your channel, your journey, and then obviously you're a St Kilda supporter, so give us the St Kilda story from your lens.
Yeah, sure. So I've been making content on YouTube I started the channel 7 years ago, but realistically been properly getting into it only end of 2019 and converted more towards footy orientated content and more sort of the lighthearted point of view. So not as much what you guys do in a way, with the previews and all that. I kind of just want to make it fun and entertaining. So goal king challenges with subscribers, maybe some vlogs to watch the Saints lose by 60 points. You can see that. But I'm obviously also a Saints fan. So I've been a Saints fan all my life through my dad and then his dad. So I had no other option but to be a Saints fan.
Yeah, right. And what do you make of where the Saints were at last week and where they're at the moment?
I feel like we're going a little bit better than what the win-losses suggest, 2-5 with a few of the close games. I feel like that Dogs game is just going to be that one outlier. We're not going to play that poor again, I don't think, this year. And even last year, we only had that one game when we lost by more than 30. That was against Adelaide. All other games have been pretty close, so Ross can make all games really a battle for the Saints. But a disappointing start, 2-5, but we really should be winning our next 3, and that could set ourselves up for maybe still finals. So we'll see.
Yeah. We'll get back to the Saints when we get to Jake. Luke?
Yep.
What's the Collingwood story?
We'll talk about it. Jake will talk about it in a little bit for his topic. But being at Anzac Day, 94,000 or whatever it was, and then the drawn game. I don't think I've been to a drawn game before. I didn't go to the drawn grand final, but that was just such an eerie, haunting feeling. The last post, beautiful, and the MCG is silent. But this was a different type of silence because you're just so used to some sort of song coming on or some sort of announcement, and everyone was just hushed and didn't really know what to do. It was haunting in a good way, though. I think, and I won't get into it too much, but I think the draw was deserved. Both teams had ample chances to win it. Essendon should have ran away with it, to be honest. But we fought back, and I think the draw was deserved. Second draw in Anzac Day history. So, no, it was really good. It was a good game.
Fair. The Blues just got beaten by the form team of the competition.
Yep.
I don't know about you guys being neutrals, if you enjoyed that game. I feel like it was an entertaining game.
It was a really good game.
No, high scoring. Yeah. That's what you want to watch.
Yeah.
Loved it.
So I don't know. I'm not down in that. I'm disappointed. I'm frustrated because we really could have and maybe should have won the game if we were more accurate. But when you don't execute the basics, and you don't defend around the ground efficiently enough, you're going to lose, especially to the top 4 sides. And no, I'm not panicking. It's we've lost 2 of the past 3 games, but we have played some pretty solid teams. And I mean, Adelaide, maybe not in the best form, but played a really good game a few weeks ago. And the Cats are the Cats. They are what they are. So, it's just we're well and truly in the season now. So we'll see how we go.
And what are you, 4-2 or 5-2 at the moment?
5-2,
I think. Yeah.
Yeah, fuck.
So it's
Swimming.
It's not terrible. It's not terrible.
Well, you take that for sure.
Jake, what happened,
Yes,
mate?
mate.
What's the story?
Oh, no stories. Just to be honest, the Port game, they were inaccurate. Made it look probably a little bit closer than it actually was if they kicked straight in the first half. But that's our 4th game. I think this year we've lost by 10 points or less. So out of 7. And I think every team except Richmond we've played are currently in the top 8.
Yep.
If I'm not mistaken. So
we're just
besides the Bulldogs. Besides the Bulldogs.
Yeah. Besides the Bulldogs,
Collingwood.
sorry, yeah.
But Collingwood will be a top 8 side anyway.
Yeah,
so,
they are. They're the reigning premier, and the Doggies, who knows with the Doggies. But it's been a tricky draw, but 2 and 5s probably reflects where we're at, to be honest. I would have taken maybe the Essendon game and be 3 and 4. I would have been comfortable there with the next 3, but we dropped it. So got to win the next 3. If we don't, then we don't deserve to make finals. So
you can almost put a line through our chance of really doing anything this year.
Who do you have the next 3? Is it North and West Coast, I assume?
North Hawthorn, Fremantle in some order.
Yep.
Yeah.
Freo at home, though.
Freo at Marvel.
That's not too bad. That's not too bad.
Yeah. So win that and then go to 5 and 5 and then reset. We've got some players coming back as well this week. So if we can get to 5 and 5, get a full squad, then the second half of the year we've got 8 of 11 at Marvel, then we'll be right, I reckon.
You got Jimmy Webster coming back, don't you?
Not this week. He won't play this week. There's no way.
Oh.
They won't bring him in again. They're not going to be that predictable and play him against North.
No.
But
it'll find them up.
Yeah, that's
Stock has
true.
been-
That's true.
Yeah. You don't want to give them any extra incentive, North. So I'd rather just leave him out and let Liam Stocker take the reins this week. And even Ben Patton, to be honest, played Sandy, so he could be a smoky to come in.
Yeah. Fair. Okay.
Always.
So what we'll do is we're going to go around. I'm going to bring a topic of the week that we've all been thinking about over the last 7 days, or in Cardi's case, I just called him this morning to tell him that he needed a topic.
12 hours.
Yeah. Cardi, you want to kick us off, mate? What's on your mind with the AFL?
With the AFL, well, this has been, I think, a bit of a debacle all year, but like this is the score review system in general. So, like, obviously last year, the Ben Keys situation was completely atrocious with how that was dealt and how that wasn't a goal and all that. And I feel like after what we've seen this year with the goal review, just the score reviews in general, like all of the goal umpires completely removed all their faith and confidence and are all uncertain with any of the decisions they make now. Like, I feel like you can watch a game of footy and there are 7 or 8 reviews each game, it seems. Like I went to the Hawthorn v North game, 6 reviews, I think, in a quarter. Most of those shouldn't have been there. Like they were pretty easy decisions to be made, but because they, I guess, are probably scared of making that same mistake, they just want to have the safety of going upstairs. But a lot of the time it's like, you're just delaying the game. I just think it's worse off for the game and it makes watching footy less enjoyable. So, another thing I have to add as well, I think the Anzac Day game, that was one of those few games where I don't think we saw a single review. And that just made the game more enjoyable to watch as well. So I think you just got to cut that down. So, yeah, I'd like to know what you guys think.
Was it just me, or were there less score reviews in this round than what we've seen for all of the year?
Oh,
There
I
was,
agree.
but they made a I was just trying to find it. They did make a change. I think they said the umpire. Did they say that the goal umpires were going to back in goals and then it was just going to get reviewed before it goes into the center and then they'd change it? I think that I can't find the article, but it was something like that. They made a little bit of a tweak to get their confidence up. or not confidence up, but to sort of make a decision, and then it'd get reviewed. But maybe someone in the comments can tell us. But there was a bit of a change, which is good, change for the better, because it's just been absolutely crazy. And I think we talked about it in the first episode, maybe with Pommy, or maybe it was you, that Jake, that brought it up, was just the crypto. Like, how much is crypto paying to get onto the screen?
I mean, there was one on the weekend. I can't remember which game it was, but the ball was at least 1 meter, 2 meters over the line. It was so clear. And they went and checked it, and it was just like 2 seconds. Crypto props up, and then they know, oh well, that's over the line, and then they move on with the game. And I'm like, that's them having like a like an in-game ad break. That's what it is. Yeah. It's an in-game ad break. So. Just a bit of money, Cardi. That's what it's all about, mate.
That's what it is now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. The pendulum swung too far into the review basket to the point where Cardi, spot on. Like, you remove all confidence in the goal umpire, to the point where you watch David Roden, who's always confident, and you're like, wow, he stands out.
Exactly.
Like a really good goal umpire because he backs himself in, and yeah, it's. I am curious. I wonder if it was just maybe an overreaction. You know, sometimes they bring in a new rule in the AFL, and the first few rounds they go really hard on it, and then by the end of the year it kind of balances out. I'm hoping that's what we see with the score review. I mean, look, on the one hand, you get a bit of a rest. That's great for your players. More rest than ever mid-game than what we have ever had because of these score reviews. But for the fans, I mean, you don't want to remove good goal celebrations for good goals.
Yeah, well, we see it in the soccer all the time. Like, you know, they score an amazing goal. They have to wait. VAR goes up. 2 minutes. Yeah. All right, it's a goal. Now celebrate. But that was like 2 minutes ago. You haven't got that same adrenaline.
No.
You know, it's just a little bit. It's a little bit different. But I think it's systemic to what we were talking about earlier about the umpires not being full time. That probably has something to do with it as well. Like, not being able to sort of back themselves in, maybe. But even so, it is just backing yourself in. It is a confidence thing, but maybe there needs to be more training. Just make them full time. Make them all full time. It's not that hard. You would think anyway.
What would the goal umpires, if it was full time for goal umpires, are they really just going to training and just
just get there?
What does a training session look like for a goal umpire? They're just looking at every angle.
A couple of those. Just a couple of those. Couple of these.
Waving a few of the flags, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe an umpire's course.
They could probably train them like umpires as well a little bit, like maybe like boundary umpires or something that sort of, gives them a little bit more. We see in the soccer all the time, the linesmen, and I've been big on this for a while about linesmen, or not linesmen, but the boundary umpires making soft calls, maybe like we see in the soccer, like the linesman saying, "Nah, he was tackled here," or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
I think that's. I know there's already four field umpires, but if you have different angles, like we see it all the time where umpires don't see something, but the boundary umpire is in the perfect position, but he can't blow his whistle or her whistle because they're just not allowed to. Like, I think, even though that's a whole different topic, but I think, boundary umpires should be able to have that.
100%. Yeah, I agree with that.
If they've gone to a system where every goal just automatically gets reviewed and everyone goes back to the middle for the most part, and then if there's a need to bring him back to the goal line and set up, then we go about it. I don't mind that. I think that's really the solution. We did speak about it maybe in the first episode, like that would be the suggested solution. Field umpiring, I think you can make them full-time because there's so much game footage to watch. Goal umpires, it's a good point. Like, what are they going to do?
That's true.
What are they going to do 40 hours a week? Unless you project balls that are super close at them, it's a tough one.
But I guess if they were full-time, I mean, devil's advocate, but it could go the other way where they're analysing footage all week that it overcomplicates their interpretation going into the next weekend's game. So do you know what I mean? Like, it can go both ways. It can make them better, or it could be like, they could look at one piece of vision 50 times and go, was that a throw? Wasn't that a throw? Actually, this weekend I'm going to try and pin that a bit more. And it's just like, it's just
a bit inconsistent. Like, it'll become quite a bit inconsistent with its decisions. Like, some weeks, maybe the goal umpires are focused on certain parts of the, reviews, and then other weeks it changes up. So the fans are like, what the hell's going on?
It's, like the head umpire would just be like, all right, this week's homework, we're looking at the throw this week. So come back on Wednesday and tell me what your best in 20 words or less. What is your best interpretation of the throw? They have to all go up and give a little PowerPoint presentation. And,
Very good. Very good.
yeah, top
All right.
notch.
What's next? Who's next?
I can go next.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sweet. So I wanted to bring something to the table that I don't really know a lot about, which is, typical of me. But I tweeted after we talked about the Carlton Geelong game. I tweeted right after the Carlton Geelong game. I said, can Geelong just give us 3 to 5 business years to sort of just catch up? Just a period where they're just shocking, because what they've been able to do so I've written down some stuff since 2000, right? They've only failed to make finals 6 times in 24. Oh, we won't include this year, so we'll say 23 years. So 4 premierships. The lowest position they've ever finished since 2000 is 12th, and that was in 2001, 2003, and then last year. They've finished in the top 8 17 times, and of those 17 times, only 6 times had they not finished in the top 4. And pretty much my topic is just the sustained success that they have. How can they have this sustained success for so long? And there's lots of factors that go into it, like Brian Cook, who's now at Carlton. He was there for a long time. Frank Costa, obviously. Since 2000, 80 rounds of football, they've been top of the ladder since 2000. 80 rounds of football, which is just it's insane. And I know they've got their superstars, or they, Selwood and Cameron and this and that and this and that. But just what they've been able to do is something you sort of, as much as you sort of hate them for their success, you got to admire it. And Carlton, getting Brian Cook in, are looking to replicate it. Everyone's trying to replicate it. And it kind of goes with my topic last week about Jeff Brown saying we need to top up with mature age players because the draft's not sort of working for us. But Geelong have done both at the same time. It's just nuts.
So you're saying, like, what's the secret, you think?
Yeah, like what's the secret sauce that we all want to be sort of a part of? It's crazy.
Would lifestyle? I mean, they always bring up that lifestyle, don't they? That they can sell. The Jerry,
it's also Geelong,
the Dangerfields. It is Geelong. I don't rate Geelong that highly, to be honest. But the players do, and the lifestyle's great. It's just I don't know. They have standards, don't they? They don't make excuses for anything. Like, you knew missing finals last year, you knew that they would bounce back hard this way.
Yeah.
You can't say that about many teams, can you? That miss finals, that you can almost say, I guarantee you they're coming out firing.
Yeah.
So that says a lot.
Yeah, true.
And like, how many times have we said, oh, they're too old, they can't win it? And, then they come out last year the year before, and absolutely smash it. And, there is times where, for lack of a better word, they choke in finals, like they didn't win a prelim for a long time or whatever it may have been. But just to be there and constantly going, kind of like what Hawthorn did during their sustained period, I think everyone needs to everyone probably is trying to copy that or emulate it. Terry, how do you sort of see what Carlton are sort of building with, like, picking up mature age players or not really going to the draft as much anymore? Brian Cook, how do you think he's doing and stuff, and trying to replicate that or build it to your own?
Well, to go back to Geelong before I get to Carlton, I mean, they were on their knees early 2000s. They had fans showing up, donating coins, like anything they could. That they were in a really bad way. So my best guess as to, like, what does it actually take to be successful for a long period of time? I mean, firstly, you've got to get your off-field right. You've got to be financially stable. You've got to be able to make your own money and have your non-core revenue strong. You've got to draft right. So you've got to get the right recruiting team. You've got to have all these elements. We touched on it briefly last week. Your development's got to be right. You've got to pick the right players. You've got to build the right culture. And then once you start seeing success, I think that's when the magic starts happening. Like, all the work that you did at the very beginning and the foundations doesn't really show until the very end. And then once they won their flag, then they just started rinsing and repeating, and the standards were upkept. And I have never thought about the lifestyle. It's a good point. You know, they're not so much in the footy bubble. Like if you're in a big Melbourne team, you're not getting too carried away, you know, going to the clubs in Melbourne and getting sucked into all sorts of things and temptations. And maybe that does have something to play, but it's just a class.
Their coaches, how many coaches have they had in 20
I
years?
was
They've had
gonna
Bonner
say.
Thompson and what? And
Yeah.
Scott.
And Scott,
They've had and Scott.
True.
yeah,
And they've been two of the best coaches, you know, in recent memory for just in general.
modern day.
In general. Yeah. So you can talk about having good administration, good lifestyle, but at the end of the day, they've had two amazing coaches. One that really bred this very young, exciting team and drafted well. And he developed them into champions. He set the foundation that Scott has then come in and maintained and enhanced. So, you know, it's not one or the other. It's a mix of both. But, you know, I mean, that is a little bit of luck. There is a little bit of luck there. You can't...
yeah,
You can't...
With like who they've drafted and all that. Like sometimes
Well, I mean-
people just...
Yeah. Well, they've had a few father-sons. They've been big on
True.
that. You know, a lot of clubs haven't, especially us, we've never really had that luxury. They
But just-
have.
Just in general though, with the drafting, like sometimes you just
Yeah.
can draft a flop. Geelong really haven't had that for most of the last 20 years.
Yeah.
And it's
Tom
just
Stewart,
like,
what was he?
he was like pick 57 or something, like really low
Yeah.
down the order. And I'm sure there are other players as well who have, like, even Cameron Ling, I think he was quite low, if I'm not mistaken. I know that was quite a while back, but even then that was like early 2000s. But with the Cats, like, can you think of any other club with a better culture in the last 20 years than Geelong?
It's hard to.
Like, Sydney
Yeah.
would be the only other side I could think of, really.
yeah.
So where this is what I hope, I don't know yet, but where I see it starting to translate at Carlton, there were interviews that I saw from Brian Cook when he was first announced as the CEO. And, you know, you're talking about his philosophy on things. And I've done a deep dive on Brian Cook and watched as many interviews that he's done as I can. And one of the things he said at the very beginning is your culture is dictated by what you reward. What you reward is what you value. So where you put your big contracts, where you spend your money on your players and what you're rewarding, that's what you truly value. So for us, we were perennially selling hope. We were maybe, you know, marketing our players to be better than what they were. That probably fed into the fans as well. And what we've done over the last few years now is we've gone and, like, it's about the characters and the humans behind who we draft. I mean, we're talking about humble, hardworking players. So, you know, you George Hewitts. I mean, Chera's pretty high profile, but he's a pretty fundamental player. He doesn't do anything too flashy. He's just like a basics kind of guy over and over again. You know, Chincotta, Jordan Boyd, you know, some of these types. So we've got this new profile that we have now at Carlton where we don't go and just get the big fish. You know, you get to off season 3 years ago, you just knew Carlton, whoever the biggest name was on the market, whether it was Papley, Dylan Shield, whoever it was like, all right, well, Carlton's going after them. And that's completely changed now. So maybe he's bought a bit of that. What I like about what I'm hearing from him in the last few weeks is he is basically alluding to the fact that, you know, Carlton, like, we're so passionate and like we're, you know, it's like a funeral one day, or it's the complete opposite the next after we win. And he wants to find a better balance. And it's a big challenge. I totally agree with it. I think we need to be a little bit more equilibrious with the way we go about it. And if we do that, I think that's a key to having long-term success. Because if you're super high emotion all the time, the crash is going to be just as hard. So I think that had something to do with the secret to Geelong. It's consistency.
Yeah, 100%. And like you said, you know, with Carlton's new philosophy of sort of not going for those really big names and stuff, Geelong sort of do it well. Like, I know they got Jeremy Cameron in and a couple of others, but, you know, you always hear stories of how, all right, guys, look, we're looking at getting Paddy Dangerfield in. He's going to cost us $1 million. We need you to take pay cuts. And everyone's like, we're going to take these pay cuts to have that sustained success. You know, at Collingwood, you know, the contract debacle, Brodie Grundy, Adam Treloar, Phillips, you know, Dane Beams. It's like, all right, we don't want these guys to go anywhere. Here's $1 million. Here's $800,000, even though you're not worth it. We just don't want you to go anywhere. We want that core team from 2018, 2019 to sort of stay together. And it really blew up in our faces. We lose a lot of draft picks. We don't bring a lot of people into the club. And ultimately, sort of Buckley loses his job, and Eddie and whatever else it sort of may have been. So you can see that sort of, we were talking about Geelong, their sort of way of life there, and their like philosophies and all that sort of stuff. That's why as well a big thing, and it sounds like Carlton are sort of doing that as well. What about you as St Kilda fans? What do you how do you sort of see your sustained, not success at the moment, but like how do you see it sort of going forward to get that sustained success? Oh, I didn't mean it like that. I didn't mean it like that.
Nice. I see what you did there, mate. All right. I see what you did there.
Like
all right.
No, I didn't mean it like that.
I liked you for a second. You ruined it, Cardi. I'm not even answering this question. Cardi, take it, mate. You take it away.
You want me to take it?
I need a breather. I need a breather.
Oh shit.
I think, for the Saints, I think definitely just ensure we hold on to the draftees we've got at the moment, to be honest with you, because I think that's where the next level of talent's going to go for the Saints. I think, we've got some talent. Like we've got Owens, Philippou, obviously Winhager, Nasai. Like those players are going to be hopefully stars of the competition. Wilson, he's bobbed up this year. 10 years time, if we can hold on to most of them, if not all of them, with the likes of some other players, maybe some mature recruits, maybe we recruit an A grader that we haven't really been able to do at all. That could hopefully put us in good stead, considering last 10 years, you can't really name many St Kilda players that we've drafted that have gone on to become A graders, really.
Yeah.
Nah.
Akers?
Well, not at the Saints.
Nah.
He's an all right player at Carlton, but not at the Saints. He was never really that much. Like even like Jack Nunes, another player. Like you just got games because we had no other players, but he was never that much of a star, was he?
Seb Ross never quite reached A grade, I don't think, even at his best. Jack
Stephen would be
Jack Stephen,
probably one of those.
Pretty good.
Yeah, one of those anomalies.
With
Even
St.
like
Kilda,
Jack Billings.
Is there I remember St Kilda in the 2010s, and there was just this aura, and you could see the belief.
Mm-hmm.
And I still think getting Ross in will help with that. Is that a thing with St Kilda community? Like, do you believe you're a top tier club, or do you believe you're on the way to becoming a top tier club?
Oh, you can't. I don't think any Saints fan would say we're. I mean, it depends on what you mean by top tier.
No, so what I mean is, I feel like you need to believe you are something before you can become it, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, so do you think sometimes this is outside looking in, I don't know what the answer is, but is there like a limiting collective belief? I know for Carlton, we had this belief because of the past, and it's kind of, we didn't have the culture to match the actual belief. We were believing in something that wasn't there. And still it hasn't arrived yet. I mean, it's whatever. Whereas I find with St Kilda, you got some really good pieces. But when I watch you guys this year, it's like, don't you guys believe in yourselves? Like they're all there.
Yeah.
Like, they're all there. All the pieces are seemingly there.
I get you. I think I said that in my review. I said even last week it's kind of like it's a feeling like you go into every game and we should be believing that we are the better team. We should believe that we're going there and we're going to get the job done well. But we always go. It's always kind of like a slight hesitancy or maybe a bit of timidness. It's kind of like, let's wait for the other team to throw a few punches before we put the gloves on. It's like, no, rock up, get in the ring with the gloves on, ready to go.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like we do that.
Good analogy.
We do that sometimes, but not all the time. But you got to do it every single week.
Yeah, we can't afford to be starting slow every week and expecting to get on top. But it's hard for the Saints to have that belief when we've been a side that have lacked success for so long. So it's hard to really...
Yeah. You got the label of underdogs, like if you think of AFL and, one of the founding clubs, we are the underdog club, so it's kind of like a label that we've got, but we need to almost somehow get rid of that.
How do you do that? Like how do you do it?
You got to win. You got to become ruthless. You got to win games and win them well. Not
you got to win
6 goals to 10. You got to win them well.
Yeah.
You got to be a team that other teams fear when they play you.
Yep.
I know I fear Saints when they play us. They always fucking show up. Makes me sick.
Yeah, but that's like a bogey team type thing, not because we're good. I want teams to be like, shit, we're playing St Kilda this weekend, you know?
And how far off do you think that is with like Ross and someone mentioned his presses and stuff and just the way he sort of goes about it, coming back into the club and all these young kids, Philip who just signed on. How far off do you think you are from being that sort of? You said you lost a handful of games under 10 points this year already. So like, how far off do you reckon it's this season, or do you reckon it's sort of next season or the year after?
I think maybe not this year. Like we maybe get one more year into Ross. It could almost be one of those just take one step back, 2 steps forward. But I think next year could be a year where we could leap, hopefully, if we get things right and actually win those games that, the games we're not expected to win. That would help to start off the season and just, kickstart some momentum. So maybe this year, but I think next year. What do you reckon, Jake?
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough because, round 2 we beat the Pies, and the Pies were struggling at the time, but it's kind of like there was a bit of swagger about that. We kind of fast, we were exciting, and then we go up against Richmond. It's almost like a case of sometimes we get ahead of ourselves when, really, we never should. Like as a Saints team, as Saints fans. I don't think any Saints fans I know would ever really get ahead of yourselves, but sometimes we go into games and think the Bombers, we thought we were home. We cooked it.
Oh, yeah.
Richmond, we nearly threw it away. But then when you play the Giants and Port, we go into games being like, well, no one expects us to win, so we're going to give it everything, and then we almost win, But I would say, I think this year we can still turn it around. I think it's the way we win the next 3. If we win the next 3, but they're ugly and they're North are in the game for most of the game, but we get away late, that's not what you want to see. We saw that twice last year.
You've got to put the bad sides away, I feel, and score 100%. Well. I think North haven't conceded less than 100 all year. If the Saints don't score over 100, I think that's a bit of a problem with King back and a few others.
Yeah. But again, we're playing teams that are always got the blowtorch on them, and North have it every week. So who knows, mate?
True.
That's the worry.
No excuses, I say.
Nah, no excuses. Absolutely not.
Luke, you would think what do you think about Collingwood's do you think you have sustained success? Make a granny, you win it 5 years later.
Yeah, I think we did have an era from that 2018. So 2017 really bad. 2018 come in, obviously make the grand final, lose the prelim. Then we had a couple of bad years. And now, obviously, with Craig McRae, we're sort of seeing us come up again. Obviously, with that premiership as well. So those 1920, those sort of 4 or 5 years we saw the best of Collingwood. We saw the worst of Collingwood. It was very much like a roller coaster. We really dipped, and we really had sort of no hope going. Buckley is out. Robert Harvey came in to coach us. We were still losing games. We lose the presidency, and then Craig McRae comes in, and we see this sort of uptick. And now we're getting into that sort of period of, okay, we've got 6 or 7 players over 30. Steele had a fucking shocking game last week.
Yeah.
Tom Mitchell subbed off with a foot complaint. Scott Pendlebury, Jeremy Howe, they're all over 30. So the thing that's different between Carlton, St Kilda and us, compared to us, is that we don't have a lot of these young, awesome kids coming through. And you see that Finn McRae doesn't play a lot, or when he plays, he's not that good. Reece McGuinness and Harvey Harrison a little bit. So we don't have these guys coming through. So sustained success for us is trying to bring in like a Bailey Smith, we were going hard for Max Holmes before he signed for Geelong. Bringing in these mature age players that you can, copy the Geelong, like I talked about, copy the Geelong formula and stay up. And, I don't, as much as before the season started, I'm like, anything besides another premiership this year is a fail, trying to get Pendlebury in. I think the goalpost, the beauty about football is that the goalpost can change every single week, right? Literally every single week. So now it's just, okay, we want to compete for that premiership, but the goalpost has changed. Let's just qualify and then see what happens, because it's a whole new season. As you guys know, it's a whole new season when finals comes on. So sustained success. Oh my god, sustained success to me is just seeing us get better every week and get better every year. I don't want to see us drop off like Richmond have, like Hawthorn have, and I don't think we will. So sustained success isn't premierships every year. It's not a grand final every year. Fuck, it's not even top 4 every year. It's just seeing improvements when there really shouldn't be any sort of improvements. Like next year, if let's just say 4 of our over 30 players go, we should be bottoming out. But success for me next year would be competing top 8, top 6 with who we have, because we haven't got that good culture. We have got those players coming through. That would be sustained success for the Pies in my eyes.
You got the draw power as well. I mean,
we do. That helps.
When you play for one of those big 4, 5, 80,000 plus membership based clubs, like it's a little easier to draw new players in, especially interstate players that want to come and play, in front of 85,000 plus at the MCG, for example. So, yeah, who knows?
Interesting time.
Yeah, there's so many elements. Got to get so much right. So much has to go right at the right time.
Yeah, and like Jake said, it is luck. Exactly. It does come down to a little bit of luck here and there.
Yeah.
Hmm.
All right. I'm going to do my topic now. My question, my theme. My theme is whipping boys. So I can only talk about it from my point of view. And the reason why I brought it up and thought about it. So Lockie Plowman was the Carlton whipping boy for a long time until he retired, to the point where like the club turned off comments for his retirement post. Like that's where it got to.
Yeah,
that's bad.
So sad. So fucking sad, man.
It's tough. It's tough. And I'm not innocent, because I definitely had moments where I added fuel to that fire, and I look back now and regret and live and learn. So I'm not going to pretend like I'm an angel.
100%. Yeah.
So I guess the question is, like, do the Saints have a whipping boy? Do the Pies have a whipping boy? If so, who is it? And why do we do it?
Okay. I mean, I'll go first. Maybe Cardi, you'll think of someone else. But I mean, currently, we're talking current.
Yeah.
Just in general.
Current?
I mean, even just particularly just with the posts, Dougal Howard, 100%.
Really?
Is that who you would say, Cardi? Dukes?
Yeah, he would be my number one. I would have said Brad Hill, but not
Brad
this
Hill,
year.
Yeah. Brad Hill, when we first got him.
Yeah, remember 2020? Was it 2021?
Yeah, that was bad.
It might have been the year after we got him in. We had a pretty decent season this first year, but then he was just sort of underperforming, having games with like less than 7 touches. And I remember a lot of the fans would come out of him and his family, and it was just like a really shit situation. I think you made some video on it as well. Like you were really disappointed with the fans.
Yeah, very disappointed. Like his partner at the time would be in the comments, and then they'd be attacking her, and it's just like, what the hell's going on? And this is like, a year into him coming to a new club, and you're like, this is the culture he's come to?
Yeah, exactly.
This is the culture where we're showing our true colours here. And why would he want to stay? And there were rumours about like, okay, maybe he'll just go back to Perth, because he was sick of it. So but he's playing really well now. But it's a bit annoying, because it's like, if he doesn't play well, he shouldn't just then revert back to being the whipping boy, But fans, Terry, you ask why people do it. It's because they can't, because we love our clubs, right? So we have to pick on particular players, because we can't hate the club, because we're going to go rock up on the weekend. So we want to find little reasons, and those little reasons are individuals, as to why we didn't win a game. Which is never true. A player never costs you a game.
Yeah.
Or do they? I don't know. Maybe they do, but
most of the time not, I would say.
No, definitely not. Definitely.
I always find, from my perspective, I mean, we're in a really interesting time right now, because Plowman's retired, so it's almost like we're trying to find one. Right now.
So would you say there's no obvious for Carlton? No obvious whipping boy?
I think it's changed from week to week. Start of this year, back end of last year / start of this year, you could throw a few names in the hat. Lewis Young seems to be one that's starting to creep up. Mark Pitternet was one before the season started.
Silvani was Silvani one.
Yeah, Silvani was for a bit.
I swear, every time I used to see your comments or like Carlton posts, he was always there, like drop him, drop him, drop him.
And I think it's more because of the fact that he was like he had the Silvani name, so they expected great things from him. I don't think it was as much how he was playing week to week.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand being frustrated at certain players. Like my thing with Plowman was I didn't feel like he just had this lackadaisical style, and then he'd consistently finish in the top 5 in the BNF. And then you just sort of you have to take a step back and realize you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. They know more than what you do on the inside. So like, what are you doing? And then someone made a comment here about I think it was Kev. You know, content creators, and you know, your words have power. Media is powerful. We are media, people on a smaller scale. And so I'm trying to be really careful not to, fan the flames. But yeah, it's I think it has something to do with we use the footy as an escape. It's this fantasy that we get to tap into every week, and it takes us away from our own lives. And I would say most people who point the finger at individuals probably aren't doing the same thing to themselves in their own life, and it's easy to blame someone else. I think there's something to do with that. So, yeah. Luke, what's the Collingwood? Is there a Collingwood whipping boy?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy at the moment. So like it used to be Callum Brown. He used to be the whipping boy. Again, like what Cardi said, the surname, your dad is a legend of the sort of club. Just didn't live up to the hype. At the moment, you would have seen or heard all the Ash Johnson stuff. So
yeah, that was bad.
We lose Dan McStay, and we need some guy to step up. And Ash Johnson had a good preseason, and we're thinking, all right, awesome. He's the guy. He's shown a lot. He hasn't really strung it sort of together. So we put, for lack of a better term, we sort of put all our hope in this Ash Johnson basket. And then I can't remember which game it was, but it might have been the St Kilda game or whatever it was. He had a couple of bad games in a row, missed a couple of sitters or whatever it may have been. And then it got so bad. His comment section got so bad that he deleted his Instagram. Right now, when something like that happens, and I'm kind of in the same boat as you, Terry. Like I'm not a fucking angel for any sense of the word, but I feel like these last couple of years, I've tried to sort of lay off players as much as I can because I know that they're on Twitter, they're on fucking Instagram, they can see this. And it's exactly right, and it's their families as well. So when this Ash Johnson thing sort of happened, and I saw that he deleted his Instagram because of it, because he's this whipping boy, and it's like, oh, Ash, he's not quick enough, too lazy, doesn't do this, doesn't do that. I made a post about it, just like a big post about saying, like it's so sad that it got to the point we all advocate for mental health so much, and it's like, oh, men should speak up more and men should cry more because it's good and all this sort of stuff. And this guy, he's making $600,000 a year. He should be able to take this sort of abuse. And it's not. I don't want to get abused at my workplace, and football is Ash Johnson's workplace. So I made this big post, and it got a lot of traction, and sort of people sort of agreeing with me and stuff, and it was really nice. And I haven't really told anyone the story, but Ash Johnson reached out to me on TikTok and just said thank you. Like I saw it, my girlfriend showed me, and thank you for the post. And I'm like, how you going? He's like, I'm not in a good place. That's why I deleted Instagram, but we'll get through. And like, words have such powerful. They're so powerful, words, and and I know that we're so passionate. We are so passionate, and you see me when I was streaming, or you see me at the end of the game, or you see me on Twitter and going nuts and stuff, and it's passion. We love passion so much, but we turn it into something that it shouldn't be. Right? We shouldn't be. Carlton shouldn't be taking off the comments for someone who gave so much to the club to say thank you. It's just so sad. So like, we see it all the time. We see Ash Johnson as a whipping boy at the moment. We don't really have another one. Will Hoskin Elliott maybe, but he does a lot more. It's just we see it. I see it all the time. But the Ash Johnson one really stuck with me just because, and I rightfully or wrongfully cop it all the time on social media as well, and it just fucks with your mental health. And I don't care if you're getting paid $10,000 a year. I don't care if you're getting paid $1.3 million a year. We should be better than that. But the term whipping boy, that is what it is. That the AFL just has it. Every team has it. Every team does it. I've done it. I've said XYZ shouldn't be playing XYZ. We just got to find a better way to communicate our words as opposed to really smashing someone enough to delete their Instagram. I know that was a tangent, but yeah.
No, it is related. I mean, I think and then you get the other side. It's like, oh, well, back in my day, Sticks Kernahan would have been, he was fine. Like these were real men. We had this chat a few days ago, and it's like, you have no idea what it's like to grow up in this generation. No idea.
No.
Just one sec, because I've just seen a comment here. Cooper, is this the Cooper Gretsch? I assume it's in your thing, because that's fucking shit. That's fucking shit. That needs to be. He needs to be banned because that's fucking gross.
I don't know if that's
and
him.
insane.
Is that really him?
I don't think it's him. To be honest,
I think it's a troll. It's not him because he'd be under his
Give it a nice.
No,
get rid of it. Unfortunately, we have to moderate because it's the internet.
Yeah,
I don't think that's the rule.
And see what I mean? Okay, sorry, Cooper. If I
Exhibit A. No.
I literally just said it.
Proof of your point.
You've proven your point.
Oh my god!
It's obviously just for attention. Whoever that person is, just trying to.
Yeah, it's just copy and pasting over and over.
Yeah, just spamming shit.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
No. Look, you know what? It was actually unfortunate, but reality is this is the internet. There's so many people that wouldn't. I think we've lost sight of the fact that what you write is on a public forum forever.
Yeah, exactly. People don't realize there are consequences for everything you say.
Yeah, there's a delete button, but there's also a screenshot button. So
exactly.
Oh, tell me about
people
it.
Forget that. Yeah.
I know. I've got it. I get it. That's one of the things about being on the internet, man. If you put it out there, you gotta be ready to cop it back. And for a long time, I wasn't ready to cop it back. I was not ready to cop it back. But now it's just like, fuck, man. It is what it is. As long as it's as long as it's all not like what I just copped then, but as long as it's all above board. But yeah, it is there permanently. That's the thing about the internet, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it gives everyone, is entitled, or at least they think they're entitled to share what they're really thinking. It's like sometimes just say nothing.
Yeah.
It's better that way.
Yeah. Sometimes just scroll. You don't have to reply to everything. Just, you don't like it? Just scroll past it, bro.
I try and live by, we talk on camera. So anything I say has full context. You've got my facial expressions and you can tell when there's a joke or when there's not, I would say.
Yeah.
Hard when you type something because context always gets taken away. And it's always, if you type.
Especially an old screenshot or something like that.
Yeah. You type anything and show it to 100 people and it'll be taken in 100 different ways,
Yeah.
So
100%.
Anyway, anything else to add, boys, to Whipping Boys before we move on?
Who's the whipping boy? Who's the whipping boy of this show? Nah.
Yeah.
Who is it? Who do you reckon?
Put it in a poll. Pommy.
Pommy's had a lot of work to the chat. It looks like with all this.
Pommy's got his own show in the chat. The legend.
Yeah.
Pom chat. He's killing it.
Far out.
It's Inception, man. It's Inception. It's so good.
What were you going to say, Cardi?
Oh, just with Whipping Boys, I feel like a lot of fans like to hop on the bandwagon in a way.
Yep.
Yeah.
If they see one player's being attacked, they get just like, oh, it's just an easy escape to just give them crap when maybe they're not necessarily deserving it. Because I feel like there are times when, the senior leaders deserve more of the criticism, but it's always just offloaded to the, I don't know, like
Spot
as
on,
you said, Dougal
spot on.
Howard or someone like that.
100%. And yeah, it's easier to just agree than to be that outlier
Have
and
it-
back up maybe
Yeah,
someone
exactly.
that's copping it a bit much, which is, partly the stuff that, all of us will do. We'll call it out and say, you know what, this guy was actually pretty good. And then you get comments saying, nah, he was shit. Like, I think it was, Sinks. I posted on that Sinks had a pretty good game on the weekend. And then some people are messaging me saying he was shit. And I'm like, he had 28 and like,
Yeah, it's
went
one of our better players. I
70%,
don't know what they're on about.
kicked a goal. It's like, what else do
Yeah,
you want from him?
got us into the game.
Yeah, but you're never going to please everyone, are you? Like even Filippo,
And that's-
he
that's-
signs.
yeah.
Filippo signs for 2 years today, and then that gives people think that announcement, which is great news to sign a young kid. Put in the comments, oh, but you've been shit the last 2 weeks. Go back to Sandy, and you're like,
Yeah, that's
he's just
that's
announced
what
his
frustrates
2-year
me.
extension. The same person would be fuming if he had have said, I'm
Yeah.
leaving for Adelaide. See you later. But then
100%.
you
Yeah,
go,
exactly.
I had to delete a few today because it was like, it was
Was
just.
this on your post? On your post?
Oh, there was a few on mine
That's-
that I deleted, and there was a few on the club's one. I'm like, you joking? This kid's just excited to announce his extension,
Yeah, it's
and we
disappointing.
desperately wanted his signature, and you're putting that in the
Oh, yeah.
comments. And he would
Yeah.
see that, like 100%, he would see that. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's just
It's a bit-
disappointing.
I think the challenge is to keep it about the football, keep it about the
That's
footy.
it.
Don't get personal. And then one thing I try and really promote with us on our side is ground your statements in evidence. Okay, instead of just saying Lockie O'Brien shit, say he's shit and say why. Bring the evidence. Bring some substance to what you're saying.
Yes. Yep.
I've noticed we've definitely turned the dial in the right direction in the BA community in live streams over the last couple of years. Winning helps, to be fair. Winning helps, 16 of 20, whatever it is. So like that obviously helps, and you can sort of help reinforce those behaviors. But yeah, it's just tough. Yeah, we're flawed. We're human.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what we have to. We have
we're-
to remember. Players are human too, right? Not
Yes.
just us.
Exactly right. And we're all allowed to make mistakes. That's the beauty about it. It's about learning from those mistakes. Like what you said, Terry, and like what I said earlier. Like 3-4 years ago, I would have said, "Fuck Will Oscar Elliott, shit, drop him." But like now, I'm going to be like, "Hang on a second, let me put my words a little bit better instead of like a 4-year-old chucking a tantrum and throwing his toys out of the cot sort of thing." As long as we're learning, that's all that really sort of matters.
100%.
Yeah, I probably would have said some bad things to certain players on my old live streams in 2021. Like, I think that Adelaide Saints game, I don't really know what I said, but it wouldn't have been great. But you know, you learn.
I know Seb Ross, I know for a fact, blocked Saints TV on Instagram. I know that he was the first, and then I remember we interviewed Dan Butler last year, and he had blocked Saints TV, so we asked him about it, and he said, "Oh, I went through a rough patch and I got a lot of hate, and I think it was from Saints TV, so I blocked you." And I'm like, "Well, I'm always backing you. I've got merch. I literally printed merch of you, mate. Like, silver service, Butler. Like, we love you." But he blocked the channel because of the comments that he was seeing and receiving from it. So
right,
crazy.
It's just not fair. Not fair for yourself, I feel.
Not fair. I mean, you want to have that relationship with the player. But yeah, at that point in time, he went through a rough patch of form and copped a lot of heat. And I mean, I'm sure he cops more from the actual club channels, but you can't block them,
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Very good.
yeah.
Good
Nice.
chat. That was nice.
That was a
guys.
really good deep one. Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
Good one.
What do you got, Jake?
What I got, so I mean, as a Saints fan, draws, they're a very sensitive topic. We hate thinking about it. We hate it. So I thought, let's rub it in a bit more and talk about it because I like pain. So the draw, Anzac Day, Collingwood Bombers, amazing game. I think Scott Pendlebury was interviewed right after the game, like after the final siren, and the reporter asked him about it, and he said, can we have some extra time? Like, he said it as a joke, but I was just curious. It got me thinking, like, as fans, I know a lot of fans like the fact that there's a draw, and if like what Swoop said at the start, game deserves a draw. Both teams had their chances to win. They didn't. So 2 points each shared. But from a player perspective, I feel like a lot of players would love to have that extra time or golden goal or whatever it is. From fans' perspective, we probably don't want it, or maybe we do. So I put out a tweet. I did a poll last week after the game, immediately after the game. And I said, who actually wants games to have extra time in the home and away season? Because we know in finals it's different, thanks to the 2010 grand final. If only that had extra time, Swoop. Saints might actually have a flag.
We'd have a second flag to our name.
We definitely would have, but we won't go into that.
100%.
28.6% said yes to extra time in the home and away season. 71% said no. I was kind of surprised by that. Is that really what everyone watching thinks, and you guys as well on the show? No to extra time? No golden goal? No. Some people were even suggesting like a penalty shootout where you get 5 shots each from different angles.
So
kind of like AFL Live 2004 warm-up, and then you see who wins. Imagine that. Imagine 5 shots each, different angles from 50 from the pocket. You get your best takers to do it. So Mackay, you wouldn't get him to do the one in the goal square. You'd get him to do the 155 yard.
Yeah.
And you'd get your Milne to do the snap on the boundary. It's like, what do you guys think? Leave it as is, or is there room for something?
I don't think I would be a fan of that idea of like having players kicking from whatever out after the game. I think it loses a bit of the, I don't know, the feeling
drama?
of the drama in a way of like a footy game. You want to see actual intensity to like determine a result. I don't mind the golden goal. I feel like the reason why a lot of people probably wouldn't like extra time, like it makes the game a little bit longer. It probably messes up with the broadcast for the AFL if there's a game on and they've got to do extra time. Then it eats into the next game, which is another.
It was 5. They were going to do 5 minutes each way, so it would just go for 10 minutes.
Yeah, well, you've got the halftime break as well, so that would be like an extra 15 plus time on, so that could be 20, 25. And I guess it can take away from a really good game. Let's just say it was an 80-80 classic, but then the final result's 107-81. Like, people might forget how good of a game that was. So I don't mind the golden goal idea because it makes it like you get a result, but it's quick. Like the game will be finished in a lot less time. So that's what I would think.
Golden goal.
It just make it so stressful, wouldn't it? But it's just so enjoyable to watch on TV.
Yeah. Like it's the 666 and all that, and then it's the first center clearance, and you're like, shit, game over.
And then some
unless it's a free kick. Imagine it's a free kick that results in the golden goal.
Yeah, that would spark controversy.
Big time. Yeah, big time.
Yeah, imagine that.
I'm fine the way it is, to be honest. Just to put it out there. I know in the comments maybe people think I want a golden goal or something, but I'm happy with the way it is. I was just curious. Like you last week, Swoop, would you have wanted? Are you happy with the game just ending there, or would you have wanted to go an extra 10 or something?
Yeah, no, a couple of factors. Like I said, deserved the draw. Incredible. Checkers kicks 2 out on the full. He doesn't usually do that. Langford misses that one. Both had chances. Draw is deserved. I know people are saying we need to have a result, but we don't. The result is we each get 2 extra points. We get 2 points. It's not a loss. It's not a win, but at least you're coming away with something. The second thing of people saying, 5 minutes each side or 5 minutes each quarter. Collingwood, that quarter went for about 30 minutes. Collingwood's last goal in that quarter was the 13th minute. So for 17 minutes, and I think Essendon's last goal in that quarter was 8 minutes. So effectively, Essendon went 22 minutes without a goal anyway. 5 minutes each side. Collingwood know how to block the game down. We did it against the Giants, did it against Hawthorn, did it against Melbourne. They know how to stop the game. I know you'd be trying to win. I get it. I understand that. But I just don't see 5 minutes is nothing. Like you could go a game without a whole quarter without scoring. So I think keep the draw, 2 points each. And keep
going.
Sorry. Okay. No, it's all right. That's all right.
No, you go. My point's just stupid. You keep going.
No, I was just going to say. I was just going to say percentage doesn't come into it. Then didn't Carlton have that last year where you guys drew, so you weren't relying on percentage?
I'm glad someone, because for me, no one mentioned the fucking draw after round one last year, but Collingwood and
Yeah.
Essendon draw, and we've got to get rid of the draw now, and like we've got to change
Yeah,
the
good
rules.
point.
Like, fascinating. No one talked about the draw last year. It was all good when Carlton drew.
Do you think that helped or hindered your final position on the ladder? Because you weren't relying on that percentage. I know it's hard to sort of.
What was the final
Same.
ladder
It's
last
because
year?
we won
I
the
can't
13th
remember.
game. It's because we won the 13th game. It helped. If we had have won the 12th game, not the 13th, then it would have hindered. So destiny was in our own hands. I'm just all about accountability and I don't know, like I think in finals it makes sense. During the season, how many draws do we get a year? 1, 2,
Literally.
1 or 2.
Yeah.
three?
Yeah.
If we were getting like
Barely
5
anything.
to 7 draws in a season, I can kind of understand maybe you want to do something about it potentially, but I don't know. I just think like you have 100 minutes to get a result. If you're not good enough, you're not good enough. It's weird. It's unique. It's a weird feeling, you know, that silence afterwards. Obviously, the Saints unfortunately had to. We you know, somebody had to be the
You don't
team.
need to.
Yeah, as in, like, I'm glad we got there
just
now.
past that. Yeah.
Not to rub it in, but I'm glad we've got there now, and that'll never happen again.
The fact that was a thing in the first place, though, like it was just all for money,
pretty
wasn't it, for the AFL?
Yeah.
Another
Like, you don't-
parade.
Like no players of the teams want to do that again. Like the whole preparation, the lead up, and then the fans as well.
Yeah.
That's why
Like,
I'm
imagine-
asking, because from fan perspective, do they like we are happy with it, but from a player's perspective, I feel like they would want a result. They always suggest it. Pendle's suggested it as a joke, but I feel like deep down he kind of wanted the game to keep going.
Nick
to get
Dacos
the
said
win.
extra. Nick
Yeah,
Dacos
he
said
joked about it
he
as
wants
well.
extra time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine they had replays for regular season games. North v Gold Coast on a Wednesday, Arvo, something like that. Crowd of 45.
Yeah.
Take out the back line, take out the forward line, just have the ruck rover and the ruckman 2-on-2. Just go full through it. Imagine trying to run it down the other end. That'd take 10 minutes in itself. Be insane.
Probably.
I am curious.
Yeah.
I mean, we are very due for the should we shorten quarters conversation in the mainstream media. That hasn't gotten a run in a little bit. So I'm sure in the next couple of months that'll get a run.
Yeah.
But yeah, it seems, I don't know, maybe these conversations have a cycle. They go out of popularity and they come back in. I don't know. I remember the draw last year and it was round one and it felt gross and it was weird and I wanted a result. I really did. But at the same time, I was like, we cooked it. Like we half cooked it, you know?
Yep.
So, I mean, I thought Anzac Day was an unbelievable game of football. And I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that game. Obviously, if you're a fan of both clubs, you have that feeling, you know. But I don't know. Maybe they will change it. I don't know.
Yeah. It doesn't happen that often that, you know, a change or leaving it the same is going to affect anything that much, you know? I don't know. What do people in the comments reckon? Seems like they're happy with it the way it is.
Yeah, most are fans of just the draws staying.
Yeah, I think that's the right way to go about it. Obviously, finals different. The draw, it's just, you know, that Kyle Langford, the last minute or whatever, could have won it. Like, and then that's it. And then we're not having this debate. But then it's just trying to win it for a minute and a half. Arguably, that's more exciting. Someone just trying to kick a bloody point.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
the last 2 minutes,
yeah.
you know. Arguably more exciting anyway. And then, yeah, it is like Terry. You obviously were the only one to experience it here in a while, but like, yeah, that sort of adrenaline that you have just sort of peters out on the draw, and it's just like, well, well, I guess it's home time now. Like,
so weird. There's no song. You're not singing your own song.
It was
the
one of
opposition not singing.
One of the weirdest feelings after the game. It felt like the game still had another quarter left.
Yeah.
I was there.
Yep.
Like it was like 93k, and it was basically silent. Like everyone was just like in awe of what to do. So that was the first time I've witnessed a draw. I think I've been to draws for Saints games, but not with the crowd as big as Anzac Day. So yeah, that was pretty incredible to see.
Yeah, right. Interesting.
It's good.
I have a question about the pies, Luke. Oh,
Yep.
Actually, I can't figure out. Are you about to click, or are there danger signs? Because I
don't think there's danger signs.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think, but I also don't think we're. I think we're a couple wins away from clicking. I think,
Fuck.
and I won't get too much into it, but I think this is a big litmus test for us. And I'll talk about it on my preview tomorrow. But fucking, the midfield of you guys is great. The forward line's great. Maybe we can get somewhere with your sort of defense, but it's going to be a very good litmus test. If we start like we did the last 2 weeks, we're fucked. Carlton will get out to a 6-goal lead in the first quarter if we start slow. But I want to say, yeah, man, we're going to click on Friday and we're going to smash them. But there's just too many signs where a lot has to go right for us to be, winning by 40 points, sort of thing. It's going to be a fucking good game, though. It's going to be a really good game.
Any of you two going, Jake and Cardi?
Yeah, I'll be going to the game.
Nice.
I'll be warming up for the big Saturday 4:35 p.m. at Marvel against North. I'll be primed for that.
I'm going to that. I'm going to go check that out. I'm going to that game.
You're going to that over Melbourne, July?
Nice.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. I got invited to go. I got invited to go with a friend, and I said, "Sure, I'll come."
Where are you
And he's
sitting?
got a nice little kangaroo scarf as well, hanging behind him.
Nah,
Oh,
no chance. No chance. I'll bring my spare scarf for you.
Yeah, I'll bring stuff as well. If you need any, just let me know.
I'll be looking forward to watching the Saints win, but
If we lose, you can do my live review for me. Is that all right?
Deal.
That's actually a good bet. A channel bet.
Bad.
That's a good fucking idea.
I don't think I could do it with you, Luke.
Nah,
I don't think I could do it.
Your community hates
that'd
me
be
too
hilarious.
much.
Not
Your
with
community
that.
hates me too much. No.
Not with
It's
Collingwood.
all good.
I could
I
not do it. With you.
totally understand. I wouldn't want to do it anyway.
Yeah. Do you guys remember? So Kira messaged me after the show last week, and she said, "Can we bring back barbecues in the MCG car park?" Did you guys ever do that?
No.
Where like
like,
you
I don't
park
remember
the
that.
car- So like in the US they have like the tailgate barbecues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't really do that anymore.
I don't remember doing that at all. Or
Yeah,
seeing
she
people
said-
do that. That was a thing?
Yeah.
When was this?
Oh my God.
So
Was
people
this-
park their cars, they sit around their cars, they have like little mini barbecues, and they have drinks before the game.
Holy shit.
Before they go into the MCG, and I'm like, I never really did it, but she sent me photos of her family doing it. I'm like,
Oh my God.
"Oh, we should do this."
That's such a sick idea.
Start a new trend, I say.
Yeah.
Fuck, would you be it's public.
Would they allow
park,
it?
isn't it?
They would allow it, right?
I don't know if they allow it anymore, and obviously the weather. I mean, you can only do it for the first couple of rounds, probably.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You know,
Not
so it's
dead
not
of
like.
winter.
Yeah, but I thought it was an interesting thing. Is there
Was
anyone
this
watching that used to do it?
Was this
Yeah.
this decade?
Wooden
was this
spoon
during
data.
the 2000s, or was it like 90s, 80s? How long
Grand
ago?
final. I know they did it on grand final day. I've seen some.
No, these photos look like they're. 2006. This photo is dated. I'm not going to show it
Wow.
because
okay.
whatever. But
Yeah.
2006, they got deck chairs, mate. They got all sorts of things happening.
That's awesome. Be better
Yeah.
than the food that the MCG sells anyway.
Oh,
I mean,
Oh.
you could make your own business and cook a few snacks, sell them for $1 each, and
Mate, Bunnings would make a killing. Aren't they a sponsor anyway?
yeah. Bunny should just set up.
Yeah.
Of AFL?
they shouldn't they? Yeah.
Set up a tent.
They
That's
won't.
sick.
But they're not going to get allowed though to do that. I don't think.
Nah.
Or they just up the prices. $8 a sausage.
Yeah, it won't be $2. that's for sure.
$8,
No, it definitely won't be $2.
$3
Yeah.
with sauce, $11. Yeah.
Do you want onions? Do you also want to let go of $5 because that's what you're going to have to do?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just reading the
that'd be
comments here. Apparently, up to the late 2000s.
Okay.
That's
With
crazy.
the trend, it's not allowed anymore.
Ah,
Yeah.
That's awesome.
good stuff.
That's really cool.
Well, that's something I never knew about. So it's
Yeah, me
cool to
either.
know.
You can get so creative with that. Have a stage out the front of the MCG. I mean, they set up September Club. Like, have a stage.
Mm.
Whatever. I'm getting carried away. I just think it's a nice touch.
It is. It would
Definitely.
be. But back
Yeah.
to like sort of a community a community field. Community field. Sorry.
$3.50 snags
Yeah.
at Bunnings. $3.50. Okay.
Yeah, and you can pay with your card
Yeah.
now at Bunnings. You can pay with your card. So
Yeah.
yeah, you
Oh,
don't need
that-
churches anymore, which is nice.
If you buy something in Bunnings, can you just show your receipt and get a free snag because you've already bought something?
Nah,
I feel like
nah,
that.
because it's not affiliated there. It's like community.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's like Craigieburn Netball Club or something is trying to raise money. So
yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember when the snags are like $1.50. Bloody robbery.
Fucking hell.
So
The-
let's talk about something that we're doing outside of football. Reading, watching, or just observing outside of footy. Anyone got anything? Something they picked up this week?
So I finished Baby Reindeer from last week.
Oh yeah.
Highly recommend if you guys still haven't watched it. Finished really, really, really well. Yeah, absolutely good, phenomenal show. I've just started reading again, probably for like the 5th time, a book called The Alchemist, by Paulo Coelho. I think that's how you pronounce it. Amazing sort of story, like a personal sort of growth story. I always tend to read it when I'm going through a little bit of a patch. Got some of the stuff tattooed on me as well. So a book that means a lot to me. So if you're looking for something to sort of inspire or sort of help you along, The Alchemist, really, really good book.
Very nice. Very nice.
Well.
I've kind of only got the NBA. Anyone watching the NBA playoffs?
No, I'm seeing it on Twitter, but not watching it.
Following the scores. Yeah.
Yeah, I've gotten to. I mean, I played basketball growing up, so I'm obsessed with the game. I've fallen into this patch now where I watch the first 2-3, say the first month of the season, and then the regular season. Like, I just don't like the quality of basketball that I see for the most part. And then I get to the playoffs and I tune right back in. My God, today was so good. Jamal Murray just like killing the Lakers at the buzzer. It was so good.
Who's favorite to? I don't know anything about basketball, but who's favorite to sort of win the whole thing?
I mean, Boston's always a shout. I like to go with the guys that prove it year to year, and I think Denver have had that sustained consistency.
Success, yep.
They won their title as well. I think they're going to do it again. They're good enough, good pieces. I know they've got a nice thing about it. There's some young teams coming up. Boston are due to get one, but I don't know.
How are the 76ers? Are they in? 76ers?
They're about to get their asses handed to them.
Damn. I watched. That's the only. I was Allen Iverson as a kid. That's the only memory I've got of NBA. I don't really watch it at all, but I always like to refer to the 76ers because that's like the only team I know.
Yeah. I was watching the NBA for 3 weeks whilst I was in America. I kind of fell out of it though when the games went on at good times.
Yeah,
it was good to go to a couple games. I went to a 76ers game, I think, against the Magic, and then a Lakers Suns game. So it's a good, different experience, like whole lot different of footy and all that.
Yeah. Tell us about your trip. What did you pick up? What was it about?
Well, that can be my I guess my answer to the question before. Yeah, in January we went to America and Mexico for like 3.5 weeks, just as a bit of a family holiday for my dad's 50th, so like a bit of a late present. So no, it was fun. We went to LA, went to one of the theme parks, Universal. Yep. Visited family because I've got family in Mexico, so stayed at their place. Good to catch up with a few of them. Stayed at a really nice place near Cancun, so everything was inclusive. We could have free alcohol whenever you want, free like buffet dinner, buffet food, like everything was inclusive. Pools, beaches, tours. So yeah, that was good. I probably didn't make the most of it because I was sleeping until 2 p.m. some of the days because I was just tired from the night before. But no, it was good. I'd love to go back there maybe with some mates one time.
Yeah, America's a good place. Yeah.
Yeah. Better when you're 21 though.
Are you under the drinking age? Are you not 21?
I was under it when I went, but now I'm 21, so it's like.
Oh, right.
You're 21 now.
Yeah, I don't look 21.
Happy birthday, man.
Not today though. Like a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, but still, happy birthday.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
How old do you look, Cardi? How old do you look, you
Oh,
reckon?
What?
maybe 18. I've always looked a lot
Yeah.
younger than when I was in school. Even like you look at my old videos, year 11, year 12, and all that. I look 12, like 11, 12. I was the biggest late bloomer you'd know.
Yo,
That's crazy.
I thought because you'd been around for so long, I figured. I mean, I knew you were younger, but I didn't know you were 21 like today, like now in this year. That's crazy.
How old do you think I
I
was?
thought you were like 24, 23.
Really?
Maybe the facial hair started coming, and I thought, oh yeah,
Maybe. I thought you thought I was like, I don't know, a little bit younger. Like, yeah, I have started a bit earlier, but I wouldn't say I look personal. I've never looked my age, but maybe it's starting to come.
No, well, I think because you've been around YouTube for so long. I
Been
just
around for a long
figured,
time. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, well, no, I did start whilst I was still in school and all that. Like, yeah, so that might be why.
No, there you go. Happy birthday, mate. 21. Holy shit. 21.
Yeah.
If only I started, oh man, if I had started doing YouTube at 21.
Well, think of all the other
I know.
creators.
You started at like 17, was it?
Well, I created the channel a few weeks before turning 14 when I was just doing the footy cards for a few years, but that was never really taken seriously. I didn't know what the hell I was doing, but yeah, like 16, 17, I started to get more into the videos and like invested in like the content and all that. So yeah, I mean, I started young, but there are so many younger creators now that are like 15, 16, 17 that have a pretty decent following already. So yeah, times of the future, I guess.
Yeah, they're gonna take over.
The next wave.
I'm gonna be washed up before I know it. You just gotta. I might already be washed up, actually.
Nah, you're all good, man.
Hold it on, but for dear life, yeah.
Jakey, what do you got, mate?
What have I got? I've been watching Living in the World's Toughest Prisons with Raphael Rowe on Netflix. That's very, very interesting.
Wow.
He was, I think, wrongly convicted of murder and had some time in prison until he was actually proven innocent. And then years later, he's done something with Netflix and he goes to just prisons, some of the craziest prisons around the world, and spends a week in them with inmates. And just chats to them, and some of the prison. It's funny. Some of the it's like says world's toughest prisons. A lot of them are obviously very, very difficult conditions. But then some of them, like there's one in Cyprus where my mum was born, and they've got like a pool. They've got like green grass. Like it looks like a resort. They don't have any times they need to go to bed. Like the doors are unlocked at all times. There's a library. Like it's just crazy seeing the differences in the cultures and the countries and how the way they think they can best rehabilitate someone. Some people think it's by, being really strict, and then there's other places that are just like, we'll let you do what you need to do, So there's that. It's been really interesting. Highly recommend it for everyone watching. And then sporting wise, the EPL I'm an Arsenal fan, and I know you're City.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Swoop and Arsenal. So watching the derby, the North London derby on the weekend, and
so
being in the
good.
race. So it'd be nice Nottingham Forest, Chris Wood, by the way, did Man
Mr.
City did Man City pay him? Honestly, like he's got a bet on Man City or something.
They were saying that the grass was like so dry, like they hadn't wet it for ages. Like it was so dry. But Nottingham Forest, that first half, we were lucky to be up 1-0. Like they were incredible. They were holding possession. They missed. Wood missed that sitter. It was it's always a good title.
Spurs are they're gonna give us the title.
I reckon they
don't reckon they always play. They always play you well, mate. They always play you.
Yeah,
well.
no, they do. But they're not going to want Arsenal to win the title. They might just drop the game. That's
an interesting one too. Like with rivals, like Carlton Collingwood this week. Like, would you rather Carlton throw the game if it means Collingwood, don't make finals or
if this is
like
a dead
that?
rubber game for Carlton?
Hypothetically, yeah. Hypothetically,
hard.
Because I think that sets a bad precedent or just a bad culture.
Does.
Yeah, you want to.
Like that says a lot about you, because the Spurs fans on the weekend were like, we'd rather, they were going into this game wanting to beat Arsenal or draw just to stop us from winning the title, not for them to make top 4. They would rather not make top 4 if that means we don't win the title. And I thought that was outrageous. I thought that was outrageous.
That's crazy. Wait, they
Don't you
top
just-
4.
Yeah, they would sacrifice some team success just so another team doesn't win something. I thought that says
So
a lot.
funny, though.
That's loser mentality, I say.
That is loser
Yeah.
mentality.
Seeps into you. Yeah. Well, talk about, I
Yeah.
mean, the Harley Reid chat, for example, you saw some of the media commentators saying, oh,
Yeah.
you know, why did North win that? It's so funny because it's like, oh, why did North win that last game and cost Harley Reid? And then they'll get punished if they tank. It's like, you just can't win.
Yeah.
You cannot win.
I feel bad for North fans, though. That's like one win in the last 20 is the one game you don't want to win as well.
Yeah.
It's like that could have been the loss and that could have been fine, but no, they just had to win that, which I guess is all right for them. But
yeah. But honestly, if they had Harley Reid right now, would he be playing the way he's playing, and would they have won a game by now? Probably.
yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, I agree.
So, it doesn't change anything right now.
They've got some really good, a good
Yeah.
spread of players, and I mean, for the Eagles, I mean, I think from the last time we spoke about them, like their veterans are finally playing with some spark. I thought the first 2 games, I thought, oh my god, they're in for a long year, and then. And McGovern had a pretty good start to the year. Elliot Yeo seems to be back into his form. Jamie Cripps is always solid. Tim Kelly seems to be playing a little bit better as well. So it just goes to show how important it is to get good veterans for a young list, and that's probably what North don't have.
Yeah.
Well-performing veterans.
Yeah.
No,
we can talk about a whole other. That's a whole other thing where even Damo came out and said North should give Pendlebury $1.3 million for the next 2 years just to have just to have him there. And he said he's literally on the AFL website. Sorry, this is another tangent. On the AFL website, right? The AFL owned website, Damo says the AFL should help North get Pendlebury over for 1.3 a season.
How?
On the AFL's own website. I don't know.
What are the AFL going to do?
It's like why would, like on the AFL's owned website. Also, before we leave, another recommendation just off the top of my head. I got recommended the Dynasty, whatever you want to call it, on Apple TV about the Patriots. I know nothing about the NFL. It's 10 episodes. It is edge of your seat stuff. It is fantastic. And it's a lot about sustained success, what they've been able to do for 20 years. Tom Brady, Deflategate, Aaron Hernandez, phenomenal. Like I binged 6 episodes in one night. I've got 2 more episodes left. Crazy. If you've got Apple TV, it's well worth it just for a month. Fantastic.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Let's talk about the week ahead. How do we want to do this? Do you want to do upset of the week? Do you want to do lock of the week? We each pick a lock to. I don't know. Let's brainstorm.
What was last week? Last week was upset of the week, wasn't it?
Are you guys Are you guys reviewing your upsets, or you don't want to?
I don't want to.
Which one flopped the most? I want to say.
I'll own up to it. I said North to beat Adelaide.
Oh no!
Do you know what, mate? I really hope I didn't backfire it a week early. Honestly, I'm slightly worried now.
If you have, all the fans are going to go after you, mate.
Big time. That's a clip.
You're the
right
whipping
there.
boy, mate. You'll be the Dougal Howard of the week.
Oh no.
I went West Coast, and I thought they were doing really well, but then I forgot about Barras, and I forgot about
Reid.
So, yeah.
What's lock of the week?
I actually did the Saints. I was certain. I think I said I'd be shocked if they don't get within a couple of goals, which I think he did in the end.
Yeah, 10 points.
I missed the first 3 quarters. I was out for dinner. I was sort of following the score, so I didn't really get a feel for what happened in the game. I watched the 4th quarter, and even from, correct me if I'm wrong, but even watching the first 5 minutes of the 4th, I sort of said, are they going to go for it?
Yeah,
I understood, you got to be patient and you got to pick your spots. And I just felt, that's why I asked the question earlier about the belief. And I was like you're there. You all of you are there, go. And I get it. King's not there. And it's a different look when, that target's not up forward and he gives you a little bit of presence. And I really do understand that. But it was just, I was like, what else do you want? Go. You can beat them. They're not that good. They're beatable.
Yeah.
Especially with the injuries as well. Frustrating.
A couple down on the bench. Yeah.
It's frustrating.
So how do you want to do it this week?
I think a lock of the week. But there has to be a punishment.
Okay.
What about a but if I was gonna say an apology video on your Instagram, but like if you don't watch the show, you're not gonna really understand it. So
Yeah. Are you guys all going unique locks? You can't do the same, I don't feel, to make things spicier.
Well,
I mean, someone can do a lock, someone can do an upset. It doesn't really matter.
hey, just your
mix
tip
it
of the
up.
week. All right, tip
The
of the week. Your certainty.
Certainty.
I can start. I'm gonna go Adelaide over Port on Thursday night.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Wow.
Is that
I think
because of Sloan?
That would be an
retiring?
upset.
Sloan retiring, Sam Powell-Pepper, Rose. They reckon he's ready to go, but
I don't think he's going to
I
play.
think he might be. I think he's going to be a laid out. And Port, they didn't look. They looked okay against you guys, but they didn't look the best. So I think Adelaide will get up for Rory Sloan. Also, Rory Sloan, amazing career, amazing player. But I think they get up over the top of Port this week.
Oh, my lock of the
Wow.
week.
Cardi,
You
got,
know you want to say it, Jake. I'll say the Dogs over Hawthorn. Hawthorn aren't looking good. Let's be real. That I've been paying close attention to Hawthorn the last few weeks, and yeah, there are issues all over the ground for them. They just haven't got enough people stepping up. So I know the Dogs aren't amazing, but they're the sort of games the Dogs win against the crappy sides. They normally get the job done pretty comfortably. So a Dogs win by 5+ goals is my call, I reckon.
wouldn't mind Jamara Ugle-Hagan being back. He's in my fantasy draft team, and I just don't know what the issue is.
Don't you have like a bench you can just swap him for? Or is
So
he in your team?
the issue is this: Sada McGovern injured, Finlayson
right.
suspended.
Okay.
You know, I mean, Liam Ryan, we just picked him up. He's just come in for his first game, so like, you know, it's tricky. But we actually picked up Daniel. We dropped Todd Marshall. We picked up Daniel Curtin, who's going to debut this week.
Yeah,
Yes.
good one.
And he's a dual position player. So, yeah.
Lock of the week. It's out of 2. I could be really controversial and just fire up this chat and pick
Fire it
Carlton as the
up.
lock of the week. I was going to think Carlton the lock.
Wow.
Interesting. Next Tuesday's going to be fun.
Saints to beat North. That should be a lock, shouldn't it?
That's a fingers crossed lock.
That's a fingers crossed lock. Yeah. But if I'm going to put I couldn't tip Carl. I can't.
Are you surprised, Jake, that 99% have gotten the Saints this week? As much as North are going terribly, but
No,
Saints,
I'm not surprised.
Saints and North, like you just never know with St Kilda. We always seem to fumble the bag against them.
I'll do Saints lock, but I'll say I'll add a margin to it just to add a bit of complexity. Because if I just say Saints, it might be a bit too easy. It'll be above 35 points. Or maybe that is normal. I don't know. I feel like for us that's a lot.
Make sure that's in the reel for next week.
Yeah, 100%. It's going in the promo. All of our locks are going in the promo.
Our locks go in the promo. Okay, fair enough. There we go.
Saints comfortably by 35.
100.
plus.
Saints by
Oh,
130.
that's a good snippet. That's a good snippet. Thank you for that. I'm just gonna make a note. Locks go.
He's gonna make that real like the second this show finishes. And then it'll just if we lose it'll just then stamp on the score over my face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm curious. Now look, got a thank you to make. Herbertron, welcome to the chat. Great to have you here. And I must say thank you. I've got to say thank you to Herbertron. Thank you for lifting the Carlton curse last year with that beautiful video that you made. Really appreciate it. Maybe we should get you on sometime.
Yeah, that was such good stuff. Such good stuff.
I was so triggered with that video.
Awesome stuff.
Luke and I will obviously tip our teams, but I am curious, Cardi and Jake, who are you tipping in Carlton Collingwood?
Ooh, I haven't uploaded my tips yet, so this is a bit of an early preview for the people watching.
Oh.
I, for some reason, feel like the Pies can get it done. It'll
Look at
be
him,
close
look at-
though.
he's
It'll be
dancing.
close. I may have just
That's
lifted up the
clipped.
spirits
That's
of
clipped
Swoop
next
there.
week.
Fuck,
Yeah.
shit.
But I don't know. I feel like maybe the Pies in another close game. I think the Blues are just going to waste chances again, and Collingwood are going to be an efficient side and get it done. It'll be close.
Yeah, it's going to be a ripper. I can't wait to watch it. Honestly, as much as I hate it, I think based on what I've seen, and I think the firepower, yeah, I think Carlton. I just think of the way you beat
fair
them
enough.
last year, and I think you're in better form from that time, and they're not. And I think that might be enough. I think you'll have a lot of chances, but I think you'll take it enough. I think it'll be, within 20 points. Carlton by 20 or less, I think, but I think they might just have enough.
Okay.
But enough, yeah.
I've got one for this. Oh God, I'm really going out on a limb if this is going to go into the real next week.
Yeah.
Elliot Yo's 200th game. Harley Reid back into the team at Optus.
Oh, yeah.
The Bombers coming. The Bombers have been impressive over the last few
They've been
weeks.
good.
They've been really good. If they're the new Bombers, they'll win this game. If they're the old Bombers, they'll lose this game. I'm gonna go out on a limb for the sake of, and I'm gonna tip the Eagles.
Yeah.
Up and about.
No, that's not bad. That's not bad.
Huge.
As a lock.
Not a lock, just a tip.
Okay.
But yeah, Eagles to beat the Bombers and Harley Reid to dominate.
Herbertron's going to love that one.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I saw it. I saw Herbertron. I'm like, well, how about we reverse it? And
even Richmond over Freo with the G, probably not, to be honest.
Yeah.
You'd think Freo.
I can't see Richmond winning that.
What about Sydney and the Giants? That's a bloody hard one. Jeez.
It should be put on a better time slot, though. I tell you what, 1:45 on a Saturday.
Did you guys notice the Sam Wicks goal?
Yeah, that was nuts.
Was
that was the controversy guy, right? With
Yes.
whatever happened. I won't get into whatever it was, but yeah, that was really early on in the game or thereabouts. And he walked past other players, and that was the worst part. Yeah,
I didn't see it.
He
I
walked
didn't
past
see
other
it.
players.
Do you have any reason why you think that happened, or?
Yeah, there was some controversy with partners, maybe. I don't really know.
Really?
One of those
story.
sensitive topics.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Because he got dropped for a game because of it, or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I can't really remember exactly, but yeah, it definitely wasn't a good look, that's for sure.
Okay.
I think that's all for the games. I ask this every week just for draft stars purposes. 3 players that'll definitely play well in your teams this week. Definitely.
For us, it's going to be it'll be Darcy, Nakos, and I think Bobby Hill might get off the leash a little bit after being quiet last week.
Okay.
I mean, if King's back, I'd back King against North's defense. I think that's a good game for him to come back into.
Should kick 5.
I'd say Brad Hill on a wing. I think he's been in really good form, and I think back on the deck, he could get 25-30 comfortably. I'm hoping Sinks too. I think Sinks.
He's due for a really big Sinclair. Is he playing in the same role or is he building into it?
Well, he's not playing midfield time, which he was for last year. But
okay.
I think he's slowly finding his form. He's had obviously a slow start to the season, but that's what you expect with a limited preseason, to be honest.
Yeah.
Fair. And Wanganeen Miller is the one that you want the ball. You want he's the one you want kicking it.
Yeah.
Not, right?
Yeah, 100%.
He's our best ball user.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is Paddy Dow?
And what about you, Terry?
Oh, Paddy Dow, yeah.
Is he going to play?
Yeah, he'll play. I'm
I
tipping he'll
can't.
play.
Who's going to play well? Oh, Charlie Curno's playing well this week. Guarantee it.
Hey, every single, it's like just put him down for 4 goals. Like that's literally you got to forget about that. It's Charlie Kerno with the Pies especially is just set and forget. It's like, okay, he's gonna kick his 4. Let's fucking focus on someone else. Like leave him kick his 4. Focus on someone else.
He'll kick his 4, then Mackay back and form will kick 4 as well. So that's another headache.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. He didn't get a single free kick last week. Not because they weren't
due for 7.
So I think he'll probably get 2 or 3. I'm really interested to see how he'll be umpired this week because I know that last time we played it was a big thing. I thought all but one of the free kicks he got against Collingwood last time were there. But we'll see how it plays out. Charlie, for sure, I'm so certain he'll play well. Cripps always gets up for this game. Is Mitchell not playing?
He's a test, but I don't think apparently his foot's cooked. I don't think he'll play. I don't think Degoli will play either. I'm hearing this is a Swoop exclusive. I've been I've been hearing.
Wow.
I'm hearing from a source. Not my usual Heinz source. This is a bit of a mountain source that Degoli won't play on Friday.
Wow.
Not Mountain, Fountain. Is that the other guys that do the source? Yeah. Degoli won't play on Friday.
Okay. Well, Cripps then I think he's certainly going to play well. And
Walsh, surely, right?
Oh, yeah.
Walsh is Walsh. Wiedering. But I think like big games. You're going to get one from Charlie, Cripps, and I think Wiedering down back because, I mean, the last few weeks he's played on, Hawkins, who's a big boy. Jesse Hogan sort of the week before for a half, and then he got the corky, and then Tech. So he's coming up against a smaller forward line per se this week. Ground level is going to be the issue for Carlton this week in defence because you guys, Lockie Schultz, lock him in for 2 goals. I guarantee it. Guarantee it.
You guys might play Lockie Schultz into
I can see it. 17 possessions, 2 goals,
7 tackles.
Yeah. So
it's going to be bloody sick. It's going to be a good game.
All right, lads, let's wrap up.
Let's do it.
Cardi, mate, thank you so much. That was brilliant. Loved having you on tonight.
Oh no, thanks for having me. It was actually really good fun. And I think in previous episodes I've noticed that with the good chats, it goes really quickly. So it doesn't feel like I've been here for an hour 40. It feels like no longer than an hour, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
It's always a breeze, isn't it, boys?
Yeah.
It's good fun.
One day.
It's easy when we got 3 professionals like you lot carrying the show.
Stop it, man. Stop it.
Come a long way with our grainy cameras, haven't we, lads? All 3 of us.
Yeah.
Grainy cameras and now there's all sorts of things going on. All right. Chat, those of you watching at home, thanks for being here. Hope you enjoyed the show.
Thanks, guys.
Make sure you leave a comment below who you want us to have as your guest next. Now, Caden's tough because he has footy training Tuesday nights, and it's just tough to get him on, but he will come onto this show eventually. Jesse, aka True Footy, also tough because he's gallivanting around the US at the moment. So it's just a tricky one. But we want to get as many of the OG or YouTubers in general, just bring them a part of it. So let us know who you want to see next.
Someone said Rolls in the chat. Rolls Macca. That's a good.
Rolls Macca. That's good. That's good.
Very good.
Very good to talk to. Very good to talk to. Yep. All right.
UCAT.
Awesome.
Guys, have the best night.
Beautiful.
See ya.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Guys.
See you guys.
Go Blue.
Go
the Saints.
See ya.